Today we are going to discuss the subject named Water Resource Engineering. In that, the unit named Introduction to Water Resource Engineering. In this, we are going to understand what are the water resources and its benefits. So, the contents are Introduction and Objects of Water Resource Development, World Water Resources of India and Karnataka. And lastly, necessity of irrigation in India, advantages and disadvantages of irrigation. So first thing, before going to the introduction, first understand what is water resources. As we have discussed earlier, the sources of water are river, ponds, lakes, streams, etc. These are the different sources of water for water supplying to the domestic, industrial, commercial, so on, it's go on. Similarly, the water resources, in the sense, the word resource, it has two words. One is re and the source. Source in the sense it is the beginning of the compound. If I am going to apply re, just like recycle, in the sense it is a cycle, it is being repeatedly or it is going to be repeatedly occur. The same way, this resource, in the sense the source, it is going to be repeatedly used. Just like the water resources in the sense the storage of this water or utilization of this water using some artificial obstructions which helps the people for their agricultural or the domestic consumption, or else it might be the per capita demands. So coming to the introduction, first, the water is one of the most manageable among the natural resources. As I have said, water can be reused by you doing some extra obstructions or extra improvements in the sources which we have, as it is capable of diversion, transport, storage and recycling. Water resources are of two types. They are surface water resource, just like we are going to build a bund across a river to store this water for several purposes. Next is groundwater resources. Objective of water resource development. You understood what is water resource engineering. Water is one of the most manageable among the natural resources, as it is capable of diverting, transporting and storing. Similarly, how we can develop these water resources? First, depending upon the region and the state of the current water conditions, policy and implementation, water resource management objective can vary depending upon the state or the district where this water resource it is going to be developed. Just like the Koyna Dam, Almaty dams, which is built across the rivers Koyna and the Krishna. Similarly, according to the GWP and IRWM approach, focuses on three pillars. This GWP, in the sense it is the groundwater programmer, they have given some three pillars as the focus. The first one, an enabling environment of suitable policies, strategies and legislation for sustainable water resource development and management. Here, if you are going to develop any water resources across any river or any stream, or if you are going to build any artificial ponds, we need to go through the legislations provided by the government or strategies being set up by the gram panchayats, and policies or some laws made by the government. You need to go through them. Next, putting in place the institutional framework through which to put into practice the policies, strategies, and legislation. And third one, setting up the management instruments required by these institutions to do their job. So these are the two bodies. They will be handling all these water resource development, and you need to go through their instructions, terms and conditions. According to that, you are going to develop the water resource for helping the mankind, helping the agricultural lands, etc. Next, we are going to know, or we are going to study the different water resources of world, India, and the Karnataka. So I have listed three of them. In world there are many. I have listed some of them, and the first one is Kariba Dam, which is in Zimbabwe, and the highest storage capacity of the water it is been in here. Similarly, the Bratsk Dam, it is in Siberia. It comes in nearby Russia. And Grand Coulee Dam, it is in USA. The Hoover Dam, you might be seen this in some action films or Hollywood films. This is also is from USA. When it comes to India, it is Bhakranangal project, Damodar Valley project, Gandak project, Godavari project, Hirakud project, Kangasbati project, Kosi project, Nagarjun Sagar project, Ukai project, Sardar Sarovar project, Salal Dam, and Koyna Dam. These are some of the projects which are being constructed across the major rivers, and all these projects or the dams which they have been built, it is for two purposes. One is for agricultural irrigation project, and one more, we are going to generate the electricity from these projects for betterment of the future. And the second most generation of the electricity is by water resource or water projects, next to the thermal power plants. Next, when it comes to the Karnataka, it's our own state. Here there are many projects it is undergoing, and I have listed some of them. One is Almaty Dam project. It is standing across the river Krishna. The Bhadra project, it is again the project which is standing across the river called Bhadra. And the Ghataprabha project, Krishna Raj Sagar project, we usually say it as KRS Dam, which is situated in Mandya district. Linganmakki Dam project, Malaprabha project. As you are, those who are staying in Belgaum, you can go through this Malaprabha project. Supa Dam project, it is in Dandeli. Tungabhadra project, it is in Hospet. And lastly, the Upper Krishna project, it is before the Almaty Dam project. They have been constructed this Upper Krishna project, and this project, it is only maintained for agricultural issues. Next is necessity of irrigation in India. Before this, I am going to define what is irrigation. Irrigation, the process of supply of water by enforcing some diversion to the water sources from the purpose of cultivation. In the sense, the irrigation, it is the process where the water it is being forced to divert from its source in the sense if it is a river, if it is a stream, or it might be the lakes or the ponds, those sources we are going to enforce the path of that source being diverted to the cultivating lands or agricultural lands. This we said as the irrigation. So going to the necessities, you might be understanding what is necessities. First, where the rainfall is inadequate or non-uniform rainfall, in the sense the rainfall it is not equally distributed over the period or over the area, where we are not going to get this rainfall, there we are going to use this irrigation projects. Secondly, the additional water requirement for cash crops. So there are different types of crops. Here the cash crops, in the sense you can see there are many sugar canes. They are being transported from one area to the other areas. This sugar cane, it is a cash crop because it is going to be crushed and it is going to be refined to prepare the sugars and the jaggery. And these sugars and the jaggeries are very costly items. So these items we call them it as a cash crops. Similarly, there are maize, the ragi. These are some of the cash crops we are. Next, controlled water supply. This irrigation system, we are diverting that path again to the some other plants. We call it as the water supply plants. There we are going to get some water from the source or the diverted sources, and we will be supplying this water by treating them with different stages, and we will be supplying to the domestic purposes or industrial purposes. And next, saves crops from drying during drought. In some areas like Bijapur, Raichur, Gulbarga, there we don't have much water resources. Even by digging some 100 feet or 200 feet, we don't find some type of groundwater too. There we will be diverting these rivers, or we will be constructing some dams, and we will be diverting using some canals to the required areas where the drought it is been happening. Next, adds water to soil and supply moisture essential for plant growth. The similar way, some areas called where we can't supply the water. Similarly, beside the road or in the forest, where we have been made paths in the roadways, there beside those roads we can't find any type of water sources being supplied. There we can have some canals or the channels beside the roadways. We can passes the channels, and those water will be given to the plants where it is been not easily applied. Next, we will be understanding what is the advantages and the disadvantages of the irrigation. So advantages are many. It's been listed here. I will be reading them. You just go on understanding. If it is difficult to understand, I will be explaining in between. Increase food production with superior quality. You can understand how the water it is being essential when comes to the food production with superior quality, we have been explained. Next, protection of crops from failure during drought, as I explained in the previous slide. Next, cultivation of cash crops or additional to the wealth of the country. Increase in prosperity and living standards of farmers. More than one crop can be grown in single land. Conversion of unproductive land into productive land. If anyone have seen Bangarada Manushya, Kannada movie acted by Dr. Rajkumar, there he has given some example regarding this, where conversion of unproductive land into productive land. He has taken some land area about 10 acres, and it was just a buried land. It is just a rocky land. There he took some machines and he has removed all those rocks from those the area, and he grew a beautiful form of grapes, and the grapes were awful. If you have not seen, you just once see it, you will understand what is the meaning about how we can convert this unproductive land to the productive land. Next, generation of hydroelectric power. As I have said, there are many projects. They are generating electricity for the requirement, as per the requirement, when the thermal plants, the power plants, they can't reach some areas. Next, domestic and industrial water supply, inland navigation. Now, in this, first I will be discussing what is water supplying. The supply of the water for after treating the water to the domestic, the industrial, commercial, the various purposes, and the inland navigation in the sense, as the river flows and the width of those the river, it will be high. If you have seen any the movie called Mohenjo-daro, at the last scene where the bund it is going to be collapsed, then that crossing the river, it has been difficult to them because the flow it is very turbulent. So they have made a path using those boats, and it is been connected to one on the each other, and they have crossed that river. Similarly, there are improvement of communication and canal plantations, and lastly the general development of the country. If the irrigation is good, then the production of the crops it will be good. Similarly, the water supply it will be good for the requirement areas. Similarly, the hydroelectric powers, as I have said, it is being supplied to one or the other areas where these thermal power plant electricity can't be reached. At the last, all if you are going to consider all these things, if it is the good, then the government or the country or the nation, whatever wherever we are living, it will be healthy in nature. When it comes to the disadvantages of irrigation, over irrigation leads to water logging, due to which crops yield reduces and ultimately becomes unfit for irrigation. Just when the river it is been passing, if I am going to divert from that path, I am going to divert it from for the left or the right. So wherever the water is going to be taking its way, on those areas we are going to lose the fertility, first thing. The second thing, the water it is very turbulent, in the sense it is very hard to the soil, so it is going to make the soil weak. So wherever the water is going to be stayed, that portion we said as a waterlogged area, and we can't grow anything on those areas until and unless you are going to do a crop rotation or rotation of the soil. Next, excess irrigation water leads to information of pools or pits, which will be breeding place for mosquitoes, leading to malaria. As it is the pandemic of the water-borne disease, and the malaria it is the worst case we have been fought against before 2000, and it is in between 90s centuries and 19th centuries and the 2000. And next, intense irrigation leads to climate of area quite cold and damp, which is unhealthy climate for human beings. And lastly, the pollution of river flows and groundwater. So this ends. Thank you.